Go for it. All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to another live stream, a Galaxy of Heroes live stream, live coming at you live from Mom's basement. Now the reason I'm doing a live stream today is because I've been working on a secret project. I'm not going to say what it is right now, and it requires a lot of research. So it's essentially about a faction that I would like to see, not just one faction, but like an update to the game that I would really like to see added. I think that if this update came where it reworked certain factions and added some new characters and some new other stuff, that it would add a lot to the game. And I think the game could really use it like right about now. I think is a great time for it. But I hit a snag. It's a little bit weird trying to juggle some of the different, like what characters could be added, how it would work in conjunction with other characters and other things that are being added. So I went researching on the internet and I found this one YouTube channel, this guy by the name of Anditesh Ordo, and he makes some interesting YouTube content. He likes posting videos where he'll talk about like a lot of like what if kind of speculation, prediction, sort of like fantasy updates about certain things in the game. So like up here, some of the first ones here are the latest one he's posted, like what if the Sith faction got a rework or new like Inquisitor stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff. He's got all kinds of very interesting stuff that I was looking through that was kind of helping me along with my project. And I thought, you know what? Why not just like invite him on to the live stream so I can get it straight from the horse's mouth? So you know what? Everybody put your hands together. Let's give Anditesh Ordo a welcome here. Welcome to the live stream, sir.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on, and of course we don't have the animated hand clapping, but that works.
You know what? I might actually get like a soundboard or something so that something funny that I can use. I was looking into that today, but I couldn't get that set up yet. But in the future, we'll do that in the future. I'll get a whole audience reaction kind of a thing. So
Clap.
So yeah, so I guess what we're gonna do today is a few things. So I'm not gonna try to make it a super long live stream. I'm just gonna kind of go. We're gonna talk about a lot of the stuff that he has here. Like I'm not gonna go too in depth into a lot of stuff. I might talk about it a little bit, but honestly, if anyone's interested who's watching, just go to his channel and check out some of his videos because he goes a lot more in depth than what we're going to do here. I'm going to focus on a couple of the ones I find most interesting and one that will help me with my project. I'm going to probe your brain a lot and bounce some ideas off you. After we're done with our discussions and stuff, we're going to do, I have a little mystery activity planned, something really fun and stupid, so stay tuned for that if you make it to the end or want to join in later. That'll be fun. So I've got some stuff here, and then I guess while we're talking, what I can do is I can pull up my like roster that we can talk about, and I could also do an activity here, maybe with Galactic War with the ships or something. We just finished 2 raids in our guild, so no raid is up. I can't really do that. So yeah, probably like Galactic War arena. I could do arena or the ship arena. Otherwise, we'll just be looking at some of the stuff he's got here on his YouTube channel. So I mean, some of these things that you have here, Anditesh, I find really interesting. So one that was, I think, hit me the most as being like, whoa, I never thought about that, was the Lobot, what if Lobot rework. In this game, nobody... Okay, do you know anybody who has a Lobot?
I have a... Hold on, let me see what mine is at. I gotta actually pull it up.
Because
I think mine's like a 6-star. Yeah, it's like, let's see, I gotta go to Rebels. It's way down there. My Lobot is level 85, but it's a 5-star, close to 6-star, gear 8.
Wow.
With some odds, and its power is 10,000 even. So he's just kind of not there, and he's just someone I did think about. he definitely needs a rework to support droids, especially with territory battles out. I think it'd be great to see like a option to choose a droid team. Um, and I know I did a video based on the having a droid team where you have Lobot as the lead, Chopper, BB-8, R2, and K2 as a test team. Of course, I don't have again, for those that are watching, I don't have a test account to really test that type of team out. Of course, I did find someone that still is way better than him, and using Akbar in his place still will do a lot better. Unfortunately, Akbar, Akbar's better. He's just better, and plus, a majority of the droids, aside from BB-8, are all rebels. So you're going to have a lot of bonus attack from all the droids. You may not get a lot of damage output from like Chopper or K2, but you'll still get some damage out. So,
wow. So in his current state, it sounds like Lobot is not viable in any way. But also, what I found is that in territory battles, sometimes like a 7-star or multiple 7-star Lobots are required for some of the Platoon missions. I heard that was like, that was kind of random, like randomly generated, which I hope it is, because honestly, like there was one time, I'm not joking, I counted, my guild needed to have 7-star Lobots to be able to place in those slots, and nobody has them.
Wow. Yeah, I've noticed. I noticed with the Platoon missions, I really wish they would actually change it to just light side characters. Then you can have a chance to throw in your Jedi Consulars, Ahsoka Tano's, those characters you're not using for the actual battles, and then you don't get clunked up with like needing like 6-7 bases, 6-7 wedges, Lobots that no one has, or characters you're using. So it's just, yeah, it works both ways, unfortunately. So,
man,
but yeah, like I said, mine's Lobot's only at 5-star. I still think that he could receive some good reworks and maybe even make them similar to Akbar, but just for droids. Who knows?
I think they actually have the same character model, like the stance. Is that?
Yeah, they have practically the same blaster rifle, except I think Akbar. Let me go to Akbar. Of course, you could do this on your screen. Go to Akbar. Akbar's
sure. I'll do that.
Yeah, same pistol, but Akbar's arm is up. But they still basically, they're similar. They have a similar cleansing, except Akbar cleanses and heals for a little bit more. I think like 2% more. Yeah, Akbar is 9. Lobot is, I'm going back and forth, is 7. So yeah, it's a 2% difference, and it's like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I just thought it was interesting that there are quite a few light side specific robots, and it's like they could actually make a team out of them. And if they needed a leader or something to make them viable, Lobot might actually be in a position where he could just use a little bit of a rework and then might actually be effective. But so that was just the thing. If people want to look in and see something a little more in depth, they can obviously go to your videos. I'll just point out the ones that I thought were the most interesting. The second one I thought was the most interesting was like, what did you call it? Like Tatooine Factions Pass. That really interested me because I know the Tuscans, for example, they're not finished. There's only 3 of them, and then they're not quite good, for example. And then we've got Jawas, where we've got 5 of them, but I don't know. Like, what would you say Jawas are best used for right now? What is their main purpose?
From my experience, well, if you don't have some good teams, you can still use it for HAT because they do get some bonuses, but they're still not as good as, like clones in one phase, rebels, the Palpatine Chirpa Thrawn combo that they have going on for phase 3. So honestly, the Jawa event is really, or the Jawa mod battles are really where they're really needed. That's really all they're useful for.
So like, would you say they're viable in any other aspect of the game, like whether it be raids, galactic war, maybe taking down a specific type of team?
well, you could use them against a droid team in Galactic War, maybe. But and plus one, if not two of them, are used for droid teams between Chief Chirpa and Jawa Engineer. But Jawa Engineer just got replaced by BB-8 in a sense. As long as you, of course, of course, you don't want BB-8's Omega ability to where he taunts unless you have a good, unless you're okay with BB-8 taunting. I'm not personally, because I want BB-8 to get off his ultimate ability
Oh
and
yeah.
not be stunned, attacked, and killed. So, but yeah, Jawas just aren't there, and that's the same. And Tuscans are super not there. Like every now and then, you'll see someone running a Vader team for the Rancor raid with Tuscan Shaman to heal the team up a bit, and then to use the Desert Toxin or the basic ability that throws on some DOT or damage over time.
I know Tuscan Raider can be used because, let's see, what does he have? There's, no, not that one. Oh, he's similar to like Chewie and like Ewok Scout, where he can remove turn meter on his basic attack. So some people use him for that raid as well. He does quite a bit of damage if you mod him correctly. He can deal out quite a bit. He's very similar to Geonosian Soldier. He's got like a yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, he can be useful in certain aspects. Shaman, yes, with his damage over time, that's interesting. Does anybody use
that name? I don't know. Honestly, I don't really ever see. Yeah, that name. What name?
He who shall not be named.
Actually, is the name. It's the name of the Tuscan that actually attacked Luke Skywalker in A New Hope.
I think,
and yeah, I guess they just named him based off of the cry he did.
Yeah. Okay. On three, we're both gonna attempt to mimic it as closely as we can. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yay! No, I'm making his character model spin.
Yeah. But yeah, with Tuscans, they're like rarely ever used, but at least they got some use between a Shaman and, like you said, the Tuscan Raider. Yeah, Tuscan Raider is similar to Geonosian Soldier, IG-86, where they have that ability to call an assist. Based on their faction, their faction gets a little bit more bonus damage and whatnot. But yeah, it's like, yeah, when I was doing that video with the Tatooine's faction pass, I was like, yeah, I could see them actually make it to where a 1-month update, they maybe add 1 or 2 Jawas, but they add like 3 or 4 Tuscans, and then rework them all, and they'll be set. Will they be meta viable? Who knows? They might be like the Ewoks, where they just fall on the wayside. They get an update which helps them, maybe like in territory battles or whatever other events they decide to do later on in the game. But for the most part, they're just not really useful at all. Which is sad, which is why I suggested that video and made up that video, kind of gave my ideas and thoughts on them too.
Actually, a couple things about the Ewoks. It did really seem like EA was like, all right, we're just going to finish the Ewoks, put them out there, they're done. Now we don't have to, now you guys can shut up. Actually, did anyone really ask for it? Do you feel like anyone...
I think it was like Mobile Gamer or on OT. They did a poll where they asked, he requested like the top so many different faction rework. And Ewoks was on that list, and it was down there in the 20s, I think. But that's just one of the factions they chose over like bounty hunters, separatists, or droids, or anything like that. So,
yeah. Then another thing actually about the Ewoks, there's one person in my arena who is running an Ewok squad, and I can't beat them with my current team because they're just insanely fast, and he's running, I think, Low Gray, who puts days on my team, which just completely ruins my team. They're insanely fast, So they take like 20 turns before I get a turn, even though my team's pretty fast. And then
I bet a Zeta. Yeah, I bet a Zeta Barris will counter that team because you get like Zeta Barris and General Kenobi, and you're just like, they're not going to because they don't dish out enough damage. If Chief Chirpa was reworked to have like offense up and maybe some crit damage for just Ewoks, I feel like that would have been it would have actually been very useful. You're actually looking for it.
yeah, I was looking for it. They have a hilarious name. I think they're called like Death Bears or something. So actually, you know what? While we're doing this opportunity, I might as well show you my roided out squad. Right now, I am running a completely roided out resistance team. It's got a total of like 4 Zetas because I've got one on Finn, I've got one on Rey, and if you don't know about Rey with her Zeta, do you know much about her Zeta?
Other than I'd have to look it up, or you could select it.
Okay,
Since I'm watching it,
I'll show you real quick. She is, if you're running a resistance team, she's almost necessary if you just want to do ungodly amounts of damage. She is a beast.
Oh yeah.
She's hitting with, she can basically do like leverage for like every single time it's her turn, and basically use either flurry or leverage. And with leverage, she does like over 45,000 damage per hit every time she hits, guaranteed. And then with Flurry of Blows, if you have offense and advantage up on her, where it guarantees a crit for each hit, she hits way over 50,000. Just so much damage. Like whenever I do a raid, like the tank raid, I can do several million points of damage, and she's responsible for like half of it. She just, and also with her, the great thing about her Zeta is that she inflicts daze when she uses like leverage or flurry of blows, which means she's super useful for completing Galactic War. It makes Galactic Wars a cakewalk. Because one big problem with a resistance team in the Galactic War is that sometimes you go up against teams like a Rex lead team where they'll gain turn meter, or you'll face Commander Luke Skywalker, or like Zeta Barris. Let's see who else. Zeta Savage, where they'll gain turn meter when they get hit, or if other people get hit. If you tag them with daze with Rey, they stop getting that turn meter, and then you can just keep going on your rampage. So she makes it so easy. It's great. Let me just, actually I might as well just play it. Actually, you know what? No, we're here because we're talking about stuff. I'm not just gonna play some arena team. I mean, I could. Maybe I'll do it later or something. But I kind of want to talk about. I mean, the main reason we're here.
Show your arena team though. Oh well, you just showed your team. Never mind. So yeah, it's not a bad team. I know Resistance is really good. They're definitely good for Galactic War. They're good for. There's still a few on my shard that still show up at the top 50 every once in a while. So.
Oh yeah.
Curious about my.
Oh, so actually.
While you're pulling up the narrative, I'm gonna look up my shard really quick.
With my arena team, so actually, Resistance isn't the best for using in arena. The only reason I'm using them is because I was running a Maul team, and that wasn't performing as well as I would like, and my rank was dropping. Actually, let me preface it by saying I don't really care that much about my rank in arena. As long as I'm in like the top 200, top 100, I don't care, because the difference between the rewards, like you get an extra like 25, it's like, who cares? I honestly don't care. It's not really a significant difference, so as long as I'm not falling way behind, I don't care. So I only play arena essentially when I have to. If I'm like, oh, my rank's been dropping a lot, I'll play a couple battles and then ignore it. Like I don't care. But so my Maul team wasn't performing very well, so I just for giggles I switched it to my Resistance team, and it's been performing way better. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave it. I don't care.
Yeah. Maul is just Yeah, you'd think them all would have came back because of Commander Luke Skywalker teams throwing up the days. Just they don't survive well because Rebel. It seems like Rebels are like the heavy damage dealers. You got Wedge, you got Biggs, you got Commander Luke, you got now Han Solo. Well, the reworked Han Solo, the Raid Han. You got the reworked Princess Leia, and they just chew through teams, chew through some, and some defensive teams. It seems like they chew pretty well through them, and it kind of sucks. I'm personally on the list. I'm on one of the sides of they need to nerf Commander Luke Skywalker a little bit.
Oh, definitely. He's
opinion.
he's so crazy.
Yeah, I hate facing arena teams with him or Galactic War teams with him in it because I have to spend like 7, 8 teams just to beat, beat like I'd have to spend one team just to beat one character because I usually go after because a lot of times they have General Kenobi Barris, so I'm like I'll take out Kenobi, I'll do some damage to the others. Next team, I'll take out Barris, do some damage to the others, and I'll take out like Han Solo or someone. It's just I don't know. I just get annoyed with it. I keep running into it. So,
Yeah, it's very annoying.
but for the most part, yeah.
Also,
Wow, you're team.
let me just say why sometimes I don't like this team. So the reason why sometimes I don't like this team is because it's not always consistent. So on my team, I've got here's R2 for example. I've got R2. He is strictly potency modded. So he's got like almost max potency. I've got number crunch Zeta, which means he's giving some of his potency to all of his resistance, or yeah, he's given some of his best stuff to everyone else. At the start of the battle,
Yeah.
resistance allies gain 10% of his max protection, offense, health, and potency. So that means everyone's got extra potency. I've got Poe is
Extra of everything.
Poe
Practically.
is strictly speed. He's got a little bit of potency, so basically I'm borderline maxed on potency, right? Sometimes when Poe does his taunt, nobody gets exposed. I've had a battle where Poe taunted 3 times in a row. Nobody got exposes anywhere across the board, and that enemy team did not have any sort of extra tenacity at all. It's just that's just the way the dice roll sometimes, and it can be very frustrating.
Yeah,
So
RNG.
with that, and then when their Poe went immediately after, my entire team was exposed. It's just the luck. It's just RNG, sorry. And yeah, sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it's awful. So once in a rare while, that'll happen on a Galactic War, where I just won't hit any exposes, and it kind of screws everything up. So on days like that, that's why I kind of don't get too invested in it, because sometimes I know it is sometimes just chance, and no matter of mods and strategy and stuff will matter, because sometimes you just won't roll the dice the way you need it to. So sometimes that kind of ruins it for me, honestly. So sometimes I just don't care. So yeah, on days like that, that's when I just back out
I
of
don't blame you. I don't blame you. Galactic War is just like I like around the time Darth Maul was around. You had Darth Maul, you had Qui-Gon, you had Rex leads. You did have some Resistance and First Order leads, and then you had some Rogue One leads, but that was really all. It was a little more diverse compared to now. Like now, it's like Rex, Commander Luke Skywalker, and General Kenobi, and compared to before. So I hope that in the next coming months, in the next 3 to 5 months, they do some reworks on some good factions, like rework Bounty Hunters or something like that, and then just change it to where it's not always Light Side and Rebels just getting the love.
Okay, so that's segues perfectly into the next topic. So I pulled up your channel. I wanted to look at some of the other factions that I'd love to see added to the game. Bounty hunters. There are some extra bounty hunters that could definitely be added to the game. They're not in the game yet, and I actually have a couple ideas for them. So I mean, first of all, everyone you can think off the top of the head, like Bosk, for example. I forgot how to say her name, Arura Singh or whatever.
or saying you're seeing the number one. I would say the number one would be Jango Fett. He should have been in the game
Oh,
since the beginning because of Boba Fett.
absolutely.
But why they don't have it, I don't know.
I
But
was.
I do hope.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry. I do hope that Jango Fett is a legendary event where they need either scoundrels or bounty hunters to unlock him. It would just
Ooh.
make really good sense. Yeah, Jango Fett, and then having him have a 5 or 6 ability because he was good against Jedi. At least in the Legends, he was a Mandalorian. He was good against the Jedi, fighting even hand to hand. Like in the movie, you saw him face Obi-Wan. So
Oh yeah.
having some good damage towards Jedi, even though Jedi aren't the meta right now, but still having some like different unique abilities. Like I can see him having like a flamethrower ability where he grants flame similar to R2D2's improvise. He has his twin blasters, so he's gonna have use of that. Maybe use his rocket on his back.
Oh.
He has a lot of tools.
Oh yeah.
Mandalorians have a lot of tools.
So him specifically, there's a bunch of things like if we just want to pull from the movies, there's a ton of things that he did in the movies that could be translated to his abilities. And also, I think if he was added to the game, he should be given abilities that maybe actually like coincide with Boba, so that way they could be like a really deadly duo. I think that'd be really cute, like a father-son assassin team. Where like it looks like Boba Fett, the way his kit seems to work, like he's got that execute ability that's very powerful. He's got like some ability blocks across the board. He's got some damage over time that stacks, and then him coming back to life all the time. I think if Jango Fett was added, maybe he could have abilities that like help eat everyone's health or make them weaker, and like maybe kind of set up for Boba Fett where like he'll like mark someone for death or something, and then Boba Fett can execute them. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be good. A death mark. I still say Django should still have the flame ability that R2 was given, that unique debuff.
Absolutely.
Because
So,
because they have flamethrowers.
so off the top of my
Granted,
head, there's a few abilities that we can kind of think or know that he could probably have. So like he used a flamethrower in the movie at least once or twice. So definitely if he just honestly had the same ability as R2 with a flamethrower, that'd be totally fine. Or if you wanted to kill two birds with one stone, we know that he launched his rocket at Obi-Wan, so that would be cool. Maybe he could do like an area of effect attack just like Boba, except maybe he could inflict like stagger, or also if
Stagger and daze.
if they don't want to have like the flamethrower attack, and like if they don't want to give him two area of effect damage attacks, they could just also add on like flame with the rocket too. So he just launches the rocket and inflicts burning as well. But it'd be cool if he had both. And then also there was one thing you mentioned in your video with Jango, was that he did use a poison dart at one point, which I think that mechanic would be cool. I was just kind of thinking about that today, like how it could work. I'm thinking maybe he could do something like it inflicts health down, and then also is like a similar to maybe Daka's plague, where it like, yeah, you can't dispel it. It's on there, and maybe it'll last the entire battle, where it's just, it takes away a percentage of health every time it's that character's turn. And then also with that health down, it's a little bit more dangerous. And then that way, if it would also make Boba Fett's execute more potent. So like if a character is weak with that poison dart after a couple turns, and then he's got some buffs or some debuffs, Boba Fett can take him out more easily. So maybe that could be a way he could they could work together.
Yeah. Yeah, Mother Talzin's plague idea is similar to Jango Fett's, or for that the poison dart. That would be a really good, and it probably inflicting like a poisonous effect of some sort, similar to plague, but also inflicting death mark with it would actually really be good.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like, or maybe not necessarily death mark, or actually wait. So Death Trooper can inflict death mark. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I
Death
guess
Trooper, I think, is the only character that we have access to that can inflict death mark outside of the pigs from the Rancor raid.
Okay, so maybe it would make sense if he could inflict death mark, or at least like maybe expose or something similar to it, or
Or a
not
bounty mark that's
not
similar
a,
to death mark.
or not explodes. What is it? Like target lock, something like that.
Target lock. Like I did mention having a character with target lock in one of my recent videos I did with the Inquisitorius, where you got the seventh sister. She has that little droid. Yeah,
Oh
any of those
yeah.
type of droids that, because they also have a droid for I think it's Iden Versio, or however you say her name, for the new Battlefront 2 game,
Oh yeah.
for the storyline. She has a droid similar, so we may or may not see some actual, action of that type of target lock effects, where it prevents stealth and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, Jango Fett getting target lock, does make sense, because the Mandalorians do have their little rangefinder things on the side of their helmets.
So yeah, I think
That's
whether it
some
be
clones
target
do that
lock,
too.
death mark, or something similar to it, just anything that kind of calls out a target to set up for Boba, I think that'd be really cool. And one more ability that I thought about him is that during the movie he shoots his grappling hook and hooks Kenobi and kind of drags him around. Has a fun time with him, little romp out there in the wet little romp. So maybe I shouldn't put it that way.
Style of Jedi or something.
So maybe that might be cool. If he had something where he kind of shoots like a wire at someone, and then that way it'll kind of tie them up, or maybe be similar to Thrawn's ability, where he like fractures them, so it just kind of renders them useless while they're tied up for a bit. Or maybe even something like inflict speed down and like ability block or something. I don't know. Just something to kind of incapacitate them. Yeah, so that could be cool
too, because they're just wrapped up.
So yeah, those are some cool things that could happen. Jango Fett, and also the reason I kind of like Jango Fett is because he might qualify for Separatist, which Separatists are one of my favorite factions, actually. I know right now they need a rework.
They don't even have a leader ability for Separatists, unfortunately.
Correct.
Which is why a lot of fans have been pushing for a Separatist, rework.
Definitely.
Especially
you actually released a couple videos about, like, you just released the Separatist ones, right, 6 days ago. Wow, it's been that long. But you released a couple videos about that, which I thought they were really good. I'm going to talk to you a lot about that, since Separatists are one of my favorite factions. Actually, maybe we should just talk about that right now. Let's do it right now. We're talking about Separatists. All right, so with Separatists, let me just pull that up on here real quick so we can talk about that at the same time. I think there's a few Separatist characters that are very good, or at least useful on their own, but they don't have a good leader right now, which is really hindering them. And also, I think they could use some new units. So like Dooku, actually, unfortunately, I have Zeta Dooku. I don't use him anymore. I kind of regret doing it. It does make him, it is good. He's got a good Zeta. It does help him as a character a lot, except he still tends to die quite a bit.
Yeah, he's still weak and frail. His Zeta is really good. Well, I don't know. I forget if it works or not on a Darth Nihilus team, but Count Dooku is a pretty good character on a Darth Nihilus-led team, because he counterattacks and gains his health back if he doesn't have shock or health immunity.
Absolutely.
Or health regeneration.
Actually, the reason I Zeta'd him in the first place was I had this dream team that I was planning on making, where it was going to be a double Zeta. Let's see if I can pull it up, actually. So it was going to be like, or maybe I'll just pull up Sith. That way I can see them all. It was going to be a double Zeta Nihilus with Zeta Savage, Zeta Dooku, maybe like Zeta Sidious, because he gets health back too. So it's just like a bunch of characters where not only can they deal damage, but with their Zetas, they just gain all that health back so quickly. Or maybe even Zeta Vader. Actually, no, not Zeta Vader. That doesn't matter because he's not. That's only on his leadership ability, I think. But
Yeah.
essentially, it would just be a bunch of Sith that like either counterattack or regain their health really quickly, and then with a Nihilist lead would just be really hard to kill. That was my plan to do
Need a
that.
rework.
Or
Still need to rework Palpatine to give him Zeta abilities.
oh, definitely. I have heard people complaining that he's just not. Being the Emperor, he should be a lot more powerful, along with Vader. Maybe that'll happen. Hopefully, they're still very useful and very good characters. It's just with current arena teams, not as much. So let's go back to Separatists.
Good.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, going back to Separatists. Yeah, well, I was going to say the Sith team was a pretty good idea. But going back to Separatists, yeah, there's a lot of characters they can add in. They could add in like a variety of like 3 to 5 droids, maybe 2 Geonosians, because then we'll have 2 factions, a faction within Separatists, well, 2 factions within Separatists, if you're talking droids. But then you got the Geonosians that can be its own little faction. Then you got, just Separatist leaders that are not droids at all. Like, I suggest in my video, you got Admiral Trench, which would also be a good fleet commander. I would think he would be a better fleet commander than Newt Gunray, in my opinion. But Newt Gunray's in the game, so they may just add him as a fleet commander. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to go. And then the rework of Grievous and Magna Guard, those duo should be a better better duo for the Separatist.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's a lot to unpack actually. I have a lot of questions about this because I really love this faction. I would love to see them reworked. But so here's a few things. So first of all, are a few Separatist characters that are actually pretty good on their own. So we've got Dooku with Sith teams and such. Asajj Ventress now recently with the Night Sister reworks is now a lot more viable, and she is pretty good, not necessarily on her own or just in a random team, but with Night Sister is very powerful. We've got B2 Super Battle Droid that he's very useful, not quite seen a lot, but now with Baze, for example. But he's very good. Poggle is actually great for droid teams. I have a droid team where I'll use Poggle with him, like in the tank raid, and that just gives them so much more damage. And like with the speed up and everything, very helpful. But yeah, as far as General Grievous and Magna Guard are concerned, they're not very good. I've heard that actually after Arnold made a little bit of a complaint about General Grievous not being very good, that he's eventually going to be reworked. It's going to happen eventually. He will get a rework, which I'm excited about too. But I think honestly, if they wanted to make them better, they could make them similar to what they're like in the raid, where the Magna Guard is taunting whenever they give a debuff. Whenever they give a debuff to one of the enemy units, and then it's that enemy unit's turn and they have a debuff inflicted by Magna Guard, then Magna Guard's taunting. I think that's actually pretty good. And then inflicting... I don't know about expose, because if you think about it, Magna Guard has like this electrical stick, so you feel like wouldn't like shock or stun or like something like that make more sense?
Yeah, or even stagger, because it would kind of zap you a bit and you kind of stagger from it. So there's those 3 status effects from Magna Guard. One thing I was thinking of doing with because I'm going to be doing another video, kind of go a little more in depth with it. With Magna Guard is actually adding another Magna Guard in the game, a different one per se.
Yeah, I saw your video about that.
I think I did talk about it a bit. Basically, it would be this new Magna Guard would be like an assault Magna Guard, where you'd have like the Bulldog rifle from the original Battlefront 2 game,
He would have like a rocket launcher for AoE, and then he would take the relentless assault from this Magna Guard over to the other one. And then this Magna Guard would have a new ability that taunts with Grievous, and I would say Grievous and or Dooku because he's still seen with Dooku. Just a bit better of a reworked kit, and then a better stance with the cape on. I think that would be a really cool look to have the Magna Guard actually have the cape or cloak added to him.
I agree
So this
with
way
that.
we'd have, this way we'd have 2 Magna Guards, and if they wanted to in the raid, I don't know if anyone would like that idea. Replace one of the Magna Guards they currently have with the Bulldog version. Then you'd have 2 different Magna Guards, and it would just change the raid up a little bit. Make it a little more tougher, maybe.
I don't know. That phase 1 is still like everyone's least favorite part of the raid.
Annoying.
I hate that. I honestly just put it on auto on that part. I don't enjoy playing it because with that raid, it's, oh my god, it's with the way it works. It's I guess if I had to summarize it, it would be like we have all the buffs and you have all the debuffs. It's all about buff control, which I think is super effective. So honestly, if they reworked the Separatists to actually just reflect that with like lots of buff control, they'd be very powerful. So you've got B2 clearing all those buffs. You've got Grievous inflicting tons of debuffs with like him. I think maybe his laugh, like his ability where he like laughs. Let's see. Let me pull them up real quick so I can see them again.
Go back to them.
So Grievous, let's see, where's his Sinister Laugh? So with this, if this also gave him 100% turn meter, just like in the raid, where he laughs, gives everyone tenacity down and maybe health down, and then he does his Grievous Wounds thing where he gives everyone a bunch of damage over time and healing immunity or something. Like that could be really that would be really good. And then with Magna Guards being able to taunt and take some of the damage. Honestly, I'm not completely on board with like the Bulldog version of Magna Guard, but I am definitely on board with him, like at least having the aesthetic rework with the cape. I think that would look really cool. And also having a second Magna Guard. I do understand with the second Magna Guard part since there are 2 of them. But also, yeah, definitely rework him to work really well with Grievous, and then also Dooku. I think that would make more sense. Let's see.
Yeah. The reason why I say the Bulldog version, or at least he has some sort of blaster. It doesn't have to be Bulldog. Even though it was used as a Bulldog blaster, I think was what it was called actually. I'm comparing it to if they added another like a Royal Guard in the game. They can add the Emperor Palpatine's Shadow Guard. So at least Grievous has his 2 guards, Palpatine has his 2 guards. Since we can only have one of every character, we can't have like 2 Royal Guards. That'd be kind of insane on some teams.
Oh yeah.
Especially on.
Yeah. What is that? That special event where it's like at the end there's Sidious and like 4 or 5 Royal Guards.
Oh, that's the
Military Might
event, I think.
Yeah, or the.
Oh no, that's military. Yeah, there's that military might one too. And then the hardest difficulty also has Vader with them. Yeah, they have a ton of Magna Guard, Royal Guards, so it's like they protect Palpatine, and then he just dishes out damage.
Yeah, that part it's pretty much a night. If you can't control the Royal Guards, it's a nightmare that just your entire team is stunned constantly. So anyway, so let's see with these guys. As far as new characters, well, actually, I kind of want to talk about the logistics of a lot of things about the Separatists. So first of all, if they were to come out with a rework, there's a lot of bleeding over from 3 different factions, like droids, Separatists, and Geonosians are kind of like a trinity. They all kind of like come together to make the CIS.
They could build it up. They could build it up for a super month, one of these months, like probably the beginning of next year. Like they say, they'll do like something February, very small, and then like March they do a few like reworks and a few bug updates and stuff like that, and they're building it up for like April, where they do all Separatists, and then they're going to add like 5, 6, 8 characters. Of course, it does help them because they're making some money off of it, but at the same time, it allows us to go, oh, sweet, we have some characters or we'll have some characters to have access to, and then maybe some of them will be instantly farmable, like we had Bodhi, and like I think it was like February or something. We got Bodhi just free, and right out of the gate, he was free to play and started being farmable. So it never hurts to do that, to allow the players to have automatic free character to start farming, get them at like 2 stars, and then be able to start farming them right away. So it'd still be a good month, and I think a lot of players would enjoy that.
I don't know about you, but I would be all over the bug update, the bug date. Prepare yourself for the bug date.
Yeah, because like they have to be alluding to Separatists sometime soon, because we got the Geonosians have new art in their little circle portrait things, and so since we've had that, it makes me wonder. Maybe my speculation is wrong for next month. Next month, I predicted to be the Empire faction with the Inferno Squad. Maybe we get Separatists next month. We don't know. But either one would still be great, because they're dark side. They're not rebels.
Well, I think a Separatist rework now would kind of make sense, because they are one of the big 4 factions. Like, you have the Rebels, Empire, like clones / Jedi, and versus the CIS, which all those Separatist characters, droids, Geonosians, Separatists. It would make sense if they got reworked for this next dark side campaign thing.
The dark side territory battle when it comes out.
And there's a lot of other things. I could keep talking about Separatists for a while. I need to bounce off quite a few other ideas off you as well, because I'm interested. So let's see. As far as Geonosians, I don't know. I mean, they already have 4. Like, I guess they don't necessarily need more, even though they could have more. Even though they could have more, it feels like since they have so much synergy with droids and Separatists, or at least maybe they should be reworked that way. That way they don't necessarily need one. It kind of forces you to like mix and match all these different teams. That would be very cool. Let's see. We got some. As far as droid characters go, yes, they definitely need more droid characters. I think one of the biggest ones that everyone would love to see is Droid Iike. I watched your video on that today. Droid Iike, and then just thinking about Droid Iike as like what role he would have. Obviously tank, and then I think having him start in ball mode, where he has lots of speed when he's in ball mode, and then he has to deploy into tank mode. And then also when he comes up with his shield, I was thinking maybe he's kind of a character where he has very low health, but like just ungodly amounts of protection when his shield is up. So that way he can just tank tons of damage. And I like what you said about him having the ability to just attack a lot. Like lots of bonus attacks and counter chance. That's cool. I think the way I would... Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in there that they don't add critical damage, because you'll just have Droid Iike attack the entire time, and HK will just keep feeding them turn meters. So obviously,
good idea.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
I did say do multiple attacks, but like maybe the second one and on can't be critical damage, but they maybe get a little more offense or something. I know I may have not said offense in the video, but still a way to still give them like 2 to 4 attacks, because him and Grievous are 2 characters that could do multiple attacks, but to avoid making it to where they just keep going over and over and over again, is to make it to where they don't have, like, maybe the second attack has like 75% less chance to critical hit or something, and then after that they can't critically hit, they just do damage. They just do normal damage just without critical chance.
That's a very good idea, to make sure you don't make it so that it can be exploited or broken. I didn't consider that. But one thing I did think about was I think it'd be really cool to give him counter chance and then plenty of bonus attacks. Kind of like Leia's. So basically give him the same amount of bonus attacks as like Leia. and then also give him counterattack. So he doesn't do that much damage, but maybe he'll have like he can inflict a debuff on his basic, like offense down or something like that. And then, let's see. There was another character I think that would work well with them. And one that's already in the game. B1 Battle Droid would make sense if he's in the game, and the way he works, at least in the ground assault with the Separatists. If you play against him, he functions off of being very fast. He's not very flashy. He doesn't have a lot of extra abilities, but he provides bonus attacks and gets lots of turn meter when he attacks. So like when there's 4 of them together, I think there's a clip of just like all of them attacking like 8 or 10 times when there's just 4 of them, because they're doing bonus attacks. They're giving their friends bonus attacks, and they're getting turn meter and stuff like that. So I remember when I first tried that event, all those droids, those B1 battle droids, attacked twice, and then they all had almost full turn meter before I even got to go again. So I think if you were to add a B1 battle droid onto a droid team, he could function off of, like, he just does offense, like that's his main thing, so he can just do damage, but he'll just have lots of turn meter, be fast, he gets to go a lot, and just give turn meter and bonus attacks to his allies. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, he basically already works like IG-86. So if they add that in, there's going to be like those two would be buddies in one team, to where they just do high amounts of damage, similar to like a Wedge Biggs team that we already have in the game. But hey, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
it supports droids.
I think it would definitely help droid teams.
Yeah, because like the two heavy hitters of a droid team is 86 and 88, IG-86 and IG-88. They're the heaviest hitters, especially it's their uniques that give them more damage. Which I kind of wish IG-88's ability they would Zeta it, and I know we're talking about IG-88, it's a bounty hunter as well, but when they Zeta it, it allows them to give like half the damage bonuses to droids and bounty hunter allies. Something of that nature. Of course, you'd have to go to IG-88 to show that, but that's it's still a viable idea for 88, but as for a droid team. But if you want to do a full Separatist droid team, there's a lot of different options. Of course, when you rework Grievous, I'm okay with him keeping what he has. They just need to add more to it, because Palpatine has something similar where he gives 2 abilities to Empire allies, or status abilities, and then, or not status, but yeah, Emperor Palpatine gives 2 buffs to Empire allies, and then gives 2 negative buffs to Jedi and Rebels. So, but the adaptive aim algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
You're still looking at that, right? Because I know there's a delay.
I'll look at that right now. I looked at Grievous for a second.
Now I see. You went over to Grievous.
I went back to 88. He says with his adaptive algorithm, 45% crit damage and deals more damage for each enemy suffering a negative status effect. Oh yeah, so he'd work very well with Grievous if Grievous is all about buff control, where the enemy has lots of debuffs. Work very well with him. Yeah. Let's see what else. There was actually, and then just side topic. I really wish we could find more uses for his leadership ability. Having all those extra damage over time effects was really fun back in the day. I think I used it on the Rancor for giggles, and I would just have like full stacks on him. That was really fun to do while it lasted. Like have him with Vader
Vader's
and stuff.
Better.
Vader's
just way better. Unless you get both leadership abilities going. Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, it's fun, but I wish there was more applications for it. But anyway, back to Separatists. There's so much to talk about with Separatists. I gotta bounce off a lot more ideas. So let's go back to the fleet stuff. So fleet is gone stale for a long time. It's been very stale for a very long time, with just not that many ships coming out. Only 3 capital ships.
Well, now we have a 4th.
Now the 4th one is finally here. We've got the Chimera. Chimera's finally here. I'm very surprised, actually. I did not expect the Chimera because if you, let's see, let me pull it up real quick. So
I did. I weirdly enough, I expected it.
Oh, you
But,
predicted
yeah,
it.
Yeah, well, I didn't put it in video to make it confirm, but I kind of thought, yeah, if they got Thrawn, they might as well throw in. They're gonna have Chimera eventually, and now they have it.
So,
But honestly, with ships, like I'm kind of like the thing about ships is the only thing you can use them in is outside of territory battles now is just the arena, and I'm meh on the arena. I don't advance as much. I'm still working on my team so I can advance a little more, but in the end, I still don't advance as much. I just don't feel the interest in it, even though they updated the rewards. It doesn't. It interests me for the rewards a little bit, but in the end, it's like there's no real benefit. But yeah, ships. I think ships definitely need to have a month to themselves, where they add like maybe a ship trail similar to Light Side Dark Side. I know some people won't like that, but adding a ship trail and allowing us to get like 5 to 7 ships thrown in the game right off the bat would be great, because then you could farm ships like Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane, Magna Guard, maybe General Grievous. You know, the list goes on and on. Anakin Skywalker. But we just need some more to the ships to make them a little more fun, because a lot of it's just ground battles. And I would like to see more to the ships.
yeah, there's a lot of cool. Oh my God. I just noticed
What?
2 things. Okay, I noticed 2 things. So first of all, while I've been sitting here, I've been using my mouse cursor around this blue ability material mat, and if you look closely there at the live stream, there's on that blue material mat, there's a ship there. Do you see what that ship? Can you lean in close to your screen and tell everybody what do you think that ship is? What does that foretell? It looks like a droid kind of ship. Why? Wait a minute. There's no droid ships in this game. Why would they have that? What do you think that's all about?
Well, who knows? They may eventually add them.
What?
knows?
They're going to add droid ships at some time? Is this like a clue or something to that? Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, yes. Why the hell don't they have the CIS droid ship in this game yet? It makes so much sense that they would add that before Thrawn's ship, but I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, well, with droids, I could see where they have a little hesitation with them, because droid ships are piloted by themselves. There's no pilots for them. Granted, they could still make a requirement, like, say, one droid starfighter, you need B2 super battle droid. You know, that kind of makes sense there. But in the end, that would just be, oh, sweet. A lot of people just go Separatist, and because it's easier to farm the droid ships and go like that. But at the same time, I still think they'll probably make some sort of link attachment to a ground troop, like like I suggest, like super battle droid to a super, like maybe even a droid bomber or something.
Oh yeah, so that was one thing I did want to talk about. So the droid ships, yeah, there is that whole issue with droids being pilotless. The problem with it is that it would be really cool to have pilotless ships. That'd be awesome. But the problem with it being pilots factor into the power of the ship, and so that might break, or that might have to be reworked or something if that was added to the game. So I can see why they might be hesitant with that. If they do just want to add droids to pilot the droid ships, I think that would make a lot of sense. Like you could have, like, it looks like the Vulture droid is here. You could have, if they add B1, that would make sense because that's kind of like both the generic troops. B2, since he's like the big guy, maybe it would make sense if he was in the bomber. And then, oh, there was that other ship, or that other troop I wanted to talk about. So in your Separatist, like new characters that come in, definitely the Commando droid. He should be in the game. He was very prominent in the Clone War series, the Commando droid. Very cool.
Yeah, he's on the title.
He has, and as far as abilities go, I was just thinking, so it seems like since he's very, very agile, he'd obviously work with a lot of dodge. I think in the the show, it showed them getting hit a lot, so they'd also be slightly, maybe not super tanky, but they'd be able to take some hits. So they would not only be fairly beefy, but they'd also have a lot of dodge. That might make sense. As far as abilities go, I've seen them have melee weapons before, so maybe if they had like kind of like Sabine's armor shredder ability, like just with a sword or something with a sword.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. And that was actually what I was trying to think of saying, is that the commando droids actually had those little swords that they use, so we can have a blaster effect, a sword effect, and then they're unique, and they would just be kind of a basic kind of droid. They don't have to be like a super, Zeta character like a lot of characters need to be nowadays.
Absolutely. I think a lot of droids would make sense if they are very basic and then they just function or get buffed a lot by one commander or something on the battlefield. There's like 4 basic droids and then one commander. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, like I'm personally still kind of disappointed with the Phoenix rework on the fact that I really wanted to see them just be Omegas and not Zetas, so they'll be a little easier team for newer players to get maxed out until they want to update, to something else.
That's a great idea.
But they did what they did, and I can't change that. I'm not in control of it, but hey. But
what?
Yeah, going back.
I thought I was talking to a developer. So
right,
yeah,
I wish I was helping out a little bit.
We'd love to have test accounts. I would just do the stupidest things with the test account. It'd be like I'd make the
crazy teams,
the Isle of Misfits, just like all the worst characters, and try to make them work.
Cup, Mob Enforcer.
Everyone's favorite character, Mob Enforcer.
I think there's a little more fame towards Cup than Mob Enforcer, but that's my thoughts.
I don't even know what Mob Enforcer is from. Is she from the Clone War series?
I think all I know is it's more of a background character that's I think from the Clone Wars series, like during the times they were on like pirate worlds and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where they got it.
I mean, this is Galaxy of Heroes. Like, why would they add those characters? There's so many other characters.
Cup makes sense. They added Ugnaught. Ugnaught kind of makes sense because we've seen Ugnaught. Makes me wonder if they decide to do an Ugnaught faction.
God forbid.
I don't know anything about Ugnaught. So I'm going to do a fun video for that, but that'd be like 5-10 years down the road, depending on how long the game lasts. I hope this game lasts a long time.
I'm going to be honest. With this game, I don't like that I play this game because it is very kind of like a mobile build where it's like they just want you to spend money and log on and spend your entire life on this game. It's very random and it's almost like gambling in a sense, especially with data packs and stuff. I don't like the game per se even that much. The one thing I really do like is actually the community, like the YouTubers with Mobile Gamer and Arnold. They're super fun. Like the people who play it are fun to play with. Maybe trying different squad combinations is fun. Yeah, it's sort of like something I'm not proud of doing it, but I do it anyway. As far as maybe we should get back a little bit to Separatists. There's so much I gotta get through. I gotta go a little faster so I can actually get through it all. Let's see. So as far as abilities with Commando Droid, it seems like they're not gonna have a ton of abilities. They're just gonna be like another basic droid. I know they throw thermal detonators at one point, at least in the Clone Wars, so maybe having a thermal detonator for something. I don't know. It's on the table.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, basic, 2 specials, and then a unique, and then they're done. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, something like not too complicated. I think also I just had a random thought the other day is if they added some sort of leader, maybe that or maybe if they gave them an ability similar to the Night Sisters, where like if they're a basic droid character like B2, B1, Commando, even Droid Iike, that if they die, they can actually get either revived or respawn because they're just droid characters who just step in. They're just a bunch of droids. I think that would be really interesting. And also,
Yeah, similar to the zombie. Yeah, that would make sense. Like, just having it to where we have another character. I don't know if they would do it to where their revive can't be prevented or not, but the fact that because battle droids, I think it'd be more best suit for B1 battle droids because there's numbers of them, more than destroyer droid, etc. And B1 battle droids would just be a basic droid anyways. It's not too overpowering, but at least they'd be a number of droids, maybe a weakling type tank droid or something, taunting droid.
I really like that idea of B1. He's just weak, but maybe he just functions off of getting turn meter and giving bonus attacks to everyone, and then he can just get wiped out, but it's okay. He just keeps coming back. I like that idea. And then so as far as other characters that could be added as maybe Separatist / droid / Geonosian leaders, the biggest ones that you had mentioned and also that I was thinking about was I think I like the idea of General Kalani being in the game more than Trench.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Trench was significant, definitely. Oops, where am I going? There we go. Trench was significant, but one issue I feel like that, or at least that I have with it, is I feel like he's kind of like a lazy character design. Is essentially like at the art meeting, one of the employees burst in with his eyes all red and was like, "Guys, what if, how in Star Wars there's like weird characters? What if we had a character, but get this, he's a guy, but his face and his arms are spider." And then the guy's like, "Brilliant, put it in the game. I want that on my desk tomorrow." And then that was the character. Now he's
Yeah, I kind of like and hate that design. I would say a lot of people that are arachnophobes would not want to be around him.
Good point.
That would really freak people out.
I do have to give prompts to the voice actor who did it. Like he added the little like thing like while he was talking. I think that was good. I think that is fine, actually. I'm just ripping on his appearance, honestly. I think his appearance is stupid, but as a character and like what function he serves and stuff, I think he's totally fine. But I am just ripping on his appearance. So let's see. So Trench would definitely make sense as a fleet commander. Most sense as the fleet commander. As far as if we want to have someone who's a fleet commander and also a commander for ground troops too, I think Kalani definitely makes the most sense because he kind of served both of those roles. And then I was thinking about what Kalani could do if he was in the game. I feel like I would love for him to fulfill a role where he's like a droid separatist leader, and that he's similar to Hermit Yoda in the sense that he can't attack himself, that he would just tell other people to attack for him. So his basic would just be telling someone else to attack for him or something. And then he would just have a bunch of abilities where like he cleanses. I think like I watched your video with Kalani as for homework, like where he cleanses. I think having him cleanse would make a lot of sense. Having him be able to buff droids and stuff would make a lot of sense. Having him call down like the droid shuttles to do like an AoE attack would also make sense because that he's kind of does that, at least in the Clone Wars series where he commands them. And then also in the raid you see that one guy at the end in the tank, like the
regular tactical droid.
Definitely. I think he would make a lot of sense being that kind of a character where you just throw him in with a bunch of other droids and then he just makes all the droids really good and then commands them. I think with your video though, he had like a blaster that didn't attack.
I suggested, with that I suggested in the video that He has a blaster for a basic attack, a cleansing ability. I think it was an offense ability. I also suggested his leader ability to be something unique to where he he did his leadership ability normally, but if he was not a leader, he was more of a support role. So he'd give like the bonuses like half amount or a certain amount less if he was a non-leader. So he's still kind of giving a role, kind of like R2's, unique. So.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I was going with Kalani a little bit, is because he was still like during the Onderon events, like he was kind of the main guy, but he still took orders from Dooku. So that's where I'm kind of seeing it, to where there is a leader, but then you got him as a secondary kind of leader, but not as much. But he's still giving some bonuses out, because we got R2D2. R2D2 gives bonuses to everyone. Who cares? He's like, I'll help everyone.
Aw, thanks, R2. Yeah, I think maybe having Kalani as a droid leader, a very strong droid leader, as to be an alternative to HK would be very good. And then maybe have a different, like maybe Grievous could be more of the blend of between Separatist and droid leader. I think that would make a lot more sense. Maybe Dooku, his leadership ability is already decent, but if you just added a little bit of like, oh, also Separatists gain this or something, or Separatists gain more offense and more dodge chance, I think that would be cool. And then, so here's something I need to ask you. So Trench versus Kalani, who do you think would make more sense to put in the game? Where Trench, seems like a very obvious fleet commander, but with Kalani, that might be able to fulfill two roles. So if you had to take only one of those and put in the game, I feel like Kalani would be a better choice, but what do you think?
Yeah. Well, even though he's not really a fleet commander, but if you're saying that he would actually fill a role as a fleet commander, kind of like Mace Windu does in a way, then yeah, Kalani would make more sense, because he'd be but I still feel that Trench would fill the role for the fleet commander, and Kalani would fill the role for a droid separatist leader, more for just droids in general.
Okay.
Because he is more of a super tactical droid, but again, you never really see Kalani controlling any fleet. There were other super tactical droids in that place in the Clone Wars. I know that. I don't remember their names and stuff. They were not as important as Kalani. Kalani's the big guy.
Yeah.
Since he survived into Rebels, his droid squad only survived into Rebels. But then again, he did have control over that one crashed ship, so it can go both ways, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I would say Kalani for sure.
Yeah, I think if the developers don't want to just add a crap ton of characters, I think it would make more sense for add Kalani, because he can do double duty. Also, as far as capital ships go, as far as who would govern the capital ship if it came out, so the contenders would be Newt Gunray being the most obvious, since he's already in the game. He's very farmable. He's not used for literally anything else. It would make sense if he was there, but I kind of had an idea as well. So as far as what capital ships go in, if kind of like the big, like the Providence class, I think it's called Providence class, like the long ones, the long droid ships, if one of those was added in, it would make most sense if either Grievous or Kalani was the leader for it. Grievous...
Newt Gunray, he was...
Go ahead.
Yeah, Newt Gunray was more... He was controlling more of a Lucre Hulk. But I don't know if the developers want to do a Lucre Hulk, because you'll just see a big blob of just Lucre Hulk hull. You don't see much because it's so big compared to, a Star Destroyer or something like that. So two Providence classes would work. Trench being one, or Kalani, depending on what they do. And then Grievous, actually, I feel like Grievous should be a unique role where he's either a fleet commander or a pilot, and he can only be one or the other in the battle, because I've mentioned that in the videos, that he should be one or the other, so that way Grievous is a leader, and then you can actually have the invisible one. I think it was the invisible one or something, or invisible
Invisible hand.
Excuse me, invisible hand.
Yeah. I kind of like that idea. I was kind of thinking about, well, what do you think Grievous? Well, you see him go away on that one ship in the movie, and then he tries to escape in it, and then also at the end of the tank raid, you see him fly away in that ship. So it would make sense if he gets his own ship there. So there's one possibility of him having his own ship. The other possibility being he would make sense if he had like his own capital ship. We see that in the movie. Like that would make a lot of sense. Another thing that I'm kind of torn about too is if we add in like the droid gunship, for example, with gunships and shuttles, you need multiple characters to pilot them. And then if you think about what kind of characters would go into it, well, you think, well, I don't know, you need more characters. Who's like a popular couple in this game with the Separatists? I don't know, Magna Guard and Grievous, or Magna Guard and Dooku. Having them go into a shuttle or like a like the droid ship, that would make a lot of sense if it was like Magna Guard plus Grievous or something. So then it's like, oh crap,
Yeah,
well, Grievous is torn between these like 3 different ones. It's like, what do we assign him to? What do you think would make the most sense? Do you think?
I still think it would still make sense for Grievous being unique as he needs to be unlocked a hard way, that he has both a fleet commander role and a pilot role and can only be one or the other. With the Magna Guard, he already has his own starfighter, so leave that role there. If you want if you want like the gunship, even though the gunship's more land than space, but if you want the gunship in the game, I would probably go more of a commando droid and maybe like a B1 or a super battle droid, because I think sometimes those gunships also drop off B2 super battle droids. So it could be the super battle droid and the commando droid. Pilot those, so then we got another ship that way. But we also still have to fill the role of, like, I don't see gunship coming in. I see more of a tri-fighter and a droid starfighter fitting those roles. So we'd have to see what developers do when that time comes, because we don't know when that's going to come.
So you might not even add the gunship if you were in charge of the Separatist update or the space update. You might not even add the gunship.
I'd add it later on, like the first release. I'd try to get a couple of, like, I'd have a B1 and a B2. They would both pilot the droid starfighters. I'd have some sort of, well, okay, I need a droid starfighter and a tri-fighter. You got Grievous's ship. You could still technically add, well, you got Ventress's ship too added in, so that's 4 there. You got Grievous's ship or his capital role ship. Capital ship role. You also have, so you'd have a couple of different capital ship options between him and Trench. Then you got Cloney. Actually, if you did add now that I think about it, if you did add a gunship, if I was a developer, it would be Cloney, and I forgot about Cloney, but Cloney and a commando droid, because Cloney, was there mostly there with the gunship.
Oh,
because he was
interesting. Yeah, I think Kalani would make sense if he was at the gunship.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
the gunship.
We're kind of like playing musical chairs about like who pilots what. It's hard. That's really hard to decide.
Yeah, so if they did add a gunship, that would be that route. Also, the commando droid could also pilot a tri-fighter, while B1 and B2s each get a starfighter. The droid starfighter, but we also have, I keep forgetting, we also have some Geonosian starfighters in the game that'll fill some separatist roles. So we don't need as many ships as we need right off. We just need at least a few more to make a separatist fleet, a little viable, at least.
So maybe different. Yeah, definitely. There's 3 Geonosian ships. As what I was thinking, if I had to make it just off the top of my head, I would say like B1 would make sense if he flew the Vulture droid. They're both kind of like the basic unit, so if they go together, that would make sense. I feel like B2, since he's more of a big tankier character, it would make sense if he controlled like the droid bomber or something, because I know that's in Battlefront 2 that came out. Bomber. Yeah, I think it would make most sense if he piloted that. Let's see.
That, but yeah, that works.
The commando droid, since he's agile, I feel like it would make most sense if he actually piloted the Tri-Fighter, since the Tri-Fighter is like a dogfighter and it's very fast and agile. But again, that's just like another, I mean, they seem similar. As far as the shuttle goes, it would make sense if it was Magna Guard plus either Kalani or Grievous. So I think, actually, you know what? I think that would make the most sense now that I think about it. So I'm going to say Grievous is, if I had to put it out right now, Grievous is the commander of the droid ship, the flagship. He can be either the flagship commander, or you can have him pilot in his own fighter, which does certain things. So you just kind of choose. Then you've got Magna Guard with Kalani in the shuttle. Then you've got, and then that'll free up the Tri-Fighter, Starfighter, and Bomber for the B2, B1, and Commando Droid. So that kind of fulfills all those roles. So that means they would be adding 4 new fighters plus new character Kalani, which helps out the droids. Grievous gets a rework, so he's a Separatist leader and a droid leader. He also pilots his own ships. Oh wait, that's 5 actually ships. 5 ships plus the capital ship. That's already plenty. That's plenty to work with. And I think that, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I still think, like, if you do give a shuttle, because I forgot to mention, there is also the fact they could do a B1 battle droid, and then they could do like a commando B1 battle droid, OOM or whatever they call them, OM9 or whatever. But yeah, they also have like those commander battle droids as well, or sergeant battle droids, whatever they call them. But yeah, they could add them in as well, and then that would free up another space for, like, maybe in the shuttle spot instead of the Magna Guard, freeing up the Magna Guard for, his actual starfighter. But we'll have to see. It's great to predict and speculate what we get. You have yours, I have mine, and we'll see what actually happens when the time comes. So
oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. The Magna Guards get their own fighter. If that happens, it's kind of like, it really is a balance. Like, if I was in charge of doing this update where they told me, like, all right, so make sure that you use the least amount of characters added and the least amount of fighters added, but it fulfills all the slots and actually makes sense. If someone told me that what I told you, I think, is what I'd finally go with, even though I think Magna Guard with his own ship would make sense too. And then also, yeah, it's just, there's so many different characters that could be added. There's so many different ships, and the way, like, the musical chairs between who gets what. And then also, I had another idea with, since Newt Gunray would make sense being his own fleet commander, if we gave him his own droid control ship, where maybe he could, with his ship, since there would be like 2 different CIS ones, with Grievous being one and then Newt Gunray having the other, it's possible Newt Gunray could have, since he has a droid control ship, he could have an ability where you don't need pilots with his, where you can just send up the fighters without pilots with his, and maybe he even has an ability where he always calls in like another, kind of like a vulture droid, like those brown ones they have in episode 1. He can like send in like a 6th ship to have. It's just like a weak ship, but he can always send one in. Something fun.
That'd be different. That'd be unique and different.
Definitely like unique, but like I feel like that could be added later, and like maybe like a, I don't want to really get too far into it, but maybe like a Naboo kind of update. Which I actually, you know what? Here, let me go back to it so I can show you on the stream. That's the one thing I said, oh my gosh, I didn't know this that till now. Yeah, so I'll wait for it to pop up on the live stream, but there was something I noticed. So there it is. So if you look on the shipbuilding material thing here, if you look at the 4 corners of it, there's a TIE fighter in one corner, a droid ship in one corner, an X-wing in one corner, and a Naboo starfighter in the other corner. I didn't notice that until now.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, and they may just have them just for the color mats, and eventually, I don't know if they will add a Naboo starfighter. If they do, they probably will just add Kid Anakin or something. But I did have a video that gave my idea of getting like a Naboo faction in there, like a Naboo security force or whatever they would call it. I didn't have a
clear name for it, but you'd be able to get like some of the Naboo pilots, and I even stretched a bit because they go off of Legends and canon, mostly canon. But Legends, you got the Jedi Starfighter game, you got some of the pilots out of there you could add in. You got Battle for Naboo, an old Nintendo 64 game. You can add a couple pilots in there. That way you can get a couple of extra different ships, so there's more variety from the Naboo faction.
Absolutely. As far as Naboo goes, maybe rather than they wouldn't have like their own like fleets, you couldn't make like a giant fleet squad, but having the Naboo fighter makes sense. Maybe having a Naboo pilot. I am totally not on board with Kid Anakin. I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Naboo. I think the Naboo faction, as a fleet commander, they'd have to use a Galactic Republic leader, and that would just fulfill the role. I think like Mace Windu.
I think
or whoever else they add.
They would just definitely have, at least with the ships, they would just have synergy with like the clone ships or Republic ships just in general, light side ships. So there'd be like the Naboo starfighter and maybe like the large really silver metallic reflective ship. I forget what it's called, but that would just be something that would just have.
They had a few. Yeah, they had a few different ones. The Naboo Royal cruisers and stuff. They had one for episode 1. They had two. They had 2 for episode 2 because one got blown up at the beginning, and then they got another one. And then episode 3 had one, but they also I think had a different one for Clone Wars as well. I'm not sure. I don't remember at all, but I think the one in Revenge of the Sith where she goes to Mustafar is the only one that actually had viable weapons on it. When I was looking that up, and I was like, use that one.
Yeah, that would be good. So and then as far as like units go, as far as Naboo go, you got Senator Amidala, like you see her with like her pistol. That would be cool. You see also like with Gungans, I honestly, I don't know if I'd want to make a whole faction out of them, but I'd definitely add like Tarpal. What's his face?
Lost an ass.
No.
Not Jar Jar.
God forbid. I'll do the cross right now. God forbid. At Tarpal, I was just thinking about Tarpal. Like I remember the Gungans have those like energy shields, and then also Tarpal has like a spear and maybe like one of those blue ball grenade things. I think that would be really fun. Ooh. All kinds of fun things you could do with that. Like his spear could do something like ignore armor and like do lots of damage. His shield could do something like it absorbs a certain amount of damage and then reflects it back at the enemy, or like a random enemy, similar to like Magma Trooper's ability, where like he shoots someone and a few people get hurt, or like more than one person gets hurt. Anyway, I don't know if I want to get too into that actually, because we could be here all day if we talk about all the
video. Yeah, so anyone watching, I did a video on the Naboo faction. I did not have Gungans in it though, but I had all like the Naboo security force. Again, I talked about characters from Battle for Naboo, the Nintendo 64 game, and on Star Wars Starfighter. So yeah, I added that video. I may do a updated version down the road, but yeah, that's a faction that would be kind of cool to see. Like I also did, I don't know if you saw it, but I also did the one for Cloud City.
Cloud City. I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah. If you go through the tab or whatever, the picture that you see when you find the video has an army of those one guys with the ice cream machine.
I forgot his name, but yeah, if you ever look it up, you could stroll through my videos and you'll see it, where you'll see it with the guys with the ice cream machine, because now there's like a group of cosplayers that like dressing up and carrying around an ice cream machine, even though in the story it was meant to be used for like a computer data mined or something or whatever that the guy was trying to escape with, so the Empire didn't get a hold of it.
There's that much backstory about it?
Yeah, it was just a light backstory, and then it just went into like you go to like Star Wars Celebration, you'll see those characters walk around with ice cream machines.
That's
It's funny.
ridiculous.
It's funny, but I actually thought of actually having that character in there. Like he would just be a basic character, like a blaster ability, something to work with droids or something, and then just a unique. But like I did a Cloud City faction pass or faction, what if base because I think it'd be kind of cool for ships to see the Cloud car in it. And so that'd be one way to get the Cloud car in. It'd be a good way to rework Lobot, rework Ugnaught, rework Lando.
Ooh.
Lando being a leader, more like scoundrel, and of course he'd still have the rebel tag, but scoundrel, the Bespin faction, and then so on. So, but yeah, I've done a video on that. I was like, why not? It'd be kind of a cool idea.
At first, I was opposed to it, but now that you sweet talked me into it like Lando, I'm a little more warmed up to it.
Well, yeah. I'm not a smooth talker like Lando himself, but at least I convinced you to actually look into it. And yeah, maybe if we do another video or another live stream, not a video, live stream again, we could talk about more of some of the smaller factions I thought of adding in, so we get a more variety of factions than just the basic. Well, it's turning into the basic 6 now with the new movies, but we got the basic 4 right now: Rebels, Empire, Separatist, and Galactic Republic, and we just need a little more synergy outside of those. Like we got Jawas and Tuscans, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
At least Galactic or Arena, but yeah, I hate to do this, but I think I am gonna have to call it from here, and we can set up a time again to do another recording. I have a grave shift, and I need a nap. I need a nap before I go to my grave shift. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. We have gone over. It's been about an hour and a half, I think. Didn't intend it to go that far, as always. I was gonna ask you about a few more things, but you know what? I guess maybe I'll have to do a part 2, because there are more factions I could talk to you about. Like I want to get back into bounty hunters and some other things. Add a few more ideas, and then also our mystery activity. I could save that for another time. I'd love that. I don't want to lose that.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm probably, what I'll do is, even though it's for the viewers as well, I'll probably look into seeing about getting some time maybe this weekend. Oh no, this weekend would be bad. Maybe, on a weekend where I'm not working, one of the nights I'm not working, so that I can, chat longer. Maybe do a 2-hour live stream, talk about what we've talk about more factions like you want to, the mystery thing you want to do. So, but yeah, I'll definitely talk to you about that for the viewers. So,
okay, yeah,
I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate this though. It's been fun. Of course, maybe even adding someone else would make it even more fun. More ideas bounce around, and then maybe the developers will get a hold of our video or our live streams, watch them, kind of get the ideas, take notes, and maybe we'll see some of our ideas actually out there.
I would. One can dream. I do love the idea of having maybe even another one. So I know that Nick R actually loves doing this kind of stuff, and he wanted to do another one. He said he had fun. If maybe I could schedule where we could all 3 do something together, so we can talk about this kind of stuff, and then also have the little mystery event together. I think that would be a great another one to do. So I'll see about planning something like that. Otherwise, as far as today, let's wrap up so you can take your nappy time. We talked about we geeked out about a few things. I asked you a lot about the Separatist faction, because I love the Separatists. So I got some details about that. As far as some other stuff goes, yeah, I guess we didn't do any spooky Halloween type stuff since it's almost Halloween. I had a wonderful drink with I made this wonderful Halloween drink. I already drank it, but it had apple cider and ginger beer and dark rum and some lemon, and it was a very nice kind of mixed Halloween themed drink. But I was gonna have candles and stuff too and make it all spoopy, but we only have so much time. Anyway, so it was lots of fun. I think doing another one would be great so we can finish up some of the other stuff and run some more ideas. But anyway, lots and lots of fun. Yeah, so you gotta go. So I guess that's it. I don't really want to. Oh, so here, I'll end it with a plug. So if anyone who is watching during this video, if you guys liked some of the ideas, if you want to go a little bit more further into depth about some of the stuff we talked about and into some more things that we didn't talk about, definitely check out Anditesh Ordo's YouTube channel. So on this channel, he'll upload stuff. He uploads quite often, and he's got all kinds of cool stuff, all kinds of cool ideas that you can think about, and gets your creative juices flowing. He also does some videos about like updates that come up, and it's not just Galaxy of Heroes. There's also, I've seen some Pokemon type stuff, and some various other kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I'm gonna eventually expand out more than just Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. I don't do Pokemon as much. I do Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes the most, and then I've done a little bit on the Stronghold, Firefly Studio games. I'm gonna do more videos on those. So I'm gonna actually eventually get a video out there where I'll tell more of my, what I like to do, and look forward to that. But yeah, again, I appreciate it for having me on here. This was fun, and you guys. And yeah, definitely check out my channel, and also check out Offlineable. How do you say?
Yeah, it's a name I came up with when I was young, and I was like, I gotta think of something creative. What if it's like, I'm online, but I have the ability to go offline. I'll be offlineable.
Offlineable.
That was my. So yeah, on Offlineable, I guess I'll just tell you what I do real quick, and then I'll call it a night. Offlineable, on my channel, I do videos. So I'm practicing to be a video and photo editor. So what I like to do is whenever I make something that I just kind of use this channel as an excuse to where I dump all my creative stuff. So I'll dump, some of it is just funny meme type stuff. I made some Galaxy of Heroes type stuff that's funny, like this one. Just like a funny little meme video, and then I made one about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in a nutshell. I thought that was fun. I make some, I kind of use like live streaming / like recording video games and stuff just as an excuse to practice editing and different editing styles. I also will do Photoshop type stuff, so I've made like a demo reel, a Photoshop demo reel that I show. Eventually I'm going to try to get internship, eventually jobs with stuff like that. So it's just an excuse where I dump my creative stuff. I'll also do live streams with stuff like this because I really do enjoy it. It's fun. So if any of that, I also do music. I'm not professional in any means whatsoever. It's just like a little hobby. So once in a while I'll make something on my old crappy MacBook with my old crappy outdated version of GarageBand. I'll just make something like I think is fun. So if any of that sounds interesting, you could check out my channel. Otherwise, if you're here for that lovely Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and all that, that extra, oops, I think I went back. Okay. Any of that Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes speculation stuff, you're going to find all that and more on the wonderful YouTube channel of Anditesh Ordo. Otherwise, that is going to be concluding our Galaxy of Heroes live stream today. Tune in next time where maybe I'll see if I can get Nikar and Anditesh Order, and we'll have a nice discussion about all kinds of cool stuff and have a special mystery activity that I've planned. It'll be lots and lots of fun, lots of hilarity, laughs, and giggles. But until then,